Yeah.
Good everyone, my name is Graphics. Today we want to redraw the figure that is displayed at the top right corner of the screen, which is on isometric. Now the first thing you do when you see a figure in isometric is that you pick your pen and you draw your two inclined axes at 30 degree. So we have 30 degree here, you can see that, and I'll turn it the other way around like this, and I'm going to draw another 30 degree here. This is the first thing you first of all do, right? Then you might just add the vertical axis also, which is 90 degree to it. These are the first thing you do. So this will represent the length, this will represent the width, and this represent the height, right? Now if you look at the diagram very well closely at the top right corner, or let me give you a clearer view of it, you discover that the entire length here, that is the entire length is from here to here is 50, right? And that length again from here to here is what? 60. Is that taken? So that means all the x-axis, the summation of the total x-axis here. So we assume this 50, then this 60. So these are all the distance, horizontal distance here. So that is 100 and what? 110. So I'll take my meter rule and I'm going to measure 110. From this will be a reference point 0. So I'll measure 110. So from here to this is 110. You can see that this is 110 here. Now that is the total length we have. That again, now we need the width. So this is what we have. Now if you look at the width closely, the width is this side, because when you look at the diagram, if I draw my horizontal line here this way, you can see this line. We have this inclined at 30 degree and this inclined at 30 degree. I said earlier, this is the length, which I've already said is 110, right? Then this is the width, now W. So this width is equal to this width, it's equals to here, and also equals to what? Here, and that is what? 44. So the entire width is 44. Now if you recall, I said earlier the entire width, I just did this is inclined at 30 degree, like I showed you earlier on the test, on the figure. This is 30 and this is another what? 30. So from here to this side we'll say it is what? 44. So you measure 44 from this point here. This is 0, right? And this is 44. And this is 44 here. So this is 40, right? And this is 44 here. Is that taken? Now we move forward. So we've gotten the total width, which is what? 44. Now the next thing is the total height, right? So we have this. Now if you look at it very well, from this point, this is the base line here, the lowest point of the figure, right? From this point up here is 50, then from here up here is what? 10. So that is the vertical distance, that is the total height there. So if I'm climbing up, this is 50 and this is 10. So 50 plus 10, that is what? 60. So I'm going to measure 60 from here upward. So with the help of my meter rule, from 0 here, I'll measure 60 upward. So this is 60 here. So I have successfully drawn out the total length, the total width, and total height. Now I'll make them form a box. How? We said isometric is always built on 30 degree. So whatever I'll do, I must use my 30 degree. Now all these points here, I'll raise them up. I'm going to what? I'll raise this up some distance here, and I'll raise it up to some distance to up here. You can see that. Now, what I did here, I will surely do it here. I will take my t-square, I'll move it to that point, and I'm going to draw an horizontal line this way. You can see that? Then I'll place it, my set square, and I'll move it on my t-square until I get to that point, and I will do my 30-degree to touch this line here, and I'll turn it the other way around also, and I'm going to do my 30-degree to touch the side also. You can see that? So 30-degree towards here. If you recall, here is what, 30, here is 30, just like here is 30 and here is 30. Now this is where they meet. I will also come to that point also until it become perfect. I will do my horizontal line here, and I'll measure 30-degree here also, this way, straight down, right? Now if I come here and do 30-degree here, let me just do it for knowledge sake, 30-degree. Now this is going off out of it, right? It is doing what? It is going out of it. So let me just, it's going out of it. Now I've done it here. If you notice, here is also 30-degree, and here it is what, 30-degree. I'll come to this point where they meet again. I'm going to draw another line here, just then I'll do my 30-degree. So if I place my set square on my t-square, I'll take it 30-degree to the left so that it's touching that line, right? And 30-degree towards the right. But if I do it here, it's going out, so I don't have to do it in that way. But I'm just doing it so I get to understand that it is built on 30-degree. So if I come here, if you notice it, here is 30, here is also 30, here is 30, here too is 30, here is 30. Everywhere you see there is 30. So I have successfully drawn out the shape that I want to assume. If you look at the top right corner, we are getting there. Now I want to act like a sculptor. You know who is a sculptor? Carve out shape from a whole log of material. Bring out shape from things, right? So I want to bring out this shape you see in the top right corner of your screen. I want to bring it out here. Now let's move. Now let's start from the base. If you look at from here to the top here is 10, right? So I'm going to measure 10 upward. From this point you see here is this point here, right? So I'm going to measure 10 upward. So with the help of my meter rule, I'll place it there, and I'm going to measure 10 upward. This is 10, right? And I'll repeat the same thing. Take my t-square on that point, assume this is a line here. Can you see that? Then I'm going to measure 30 to this side, right? And I'm going to measure another 30 to this side to touch here. You can see that? So that is just the game plan. I measured 30 here, but if you look at the diagram at the top right corner, you discover that it is thickened. So I'm going to thicken from here to this point, right? And I'll also thicken from here to this point, right? Then if you look at the top right corner, here is also thickened, right? Here is here, and here is equals to here and here, and you can see that they are thickened. Both up and down is thickened, even this side is thickened. So I'll thicken them. So I'll thicken them there. You can only thicken when you're very sure. Yeah, I'll thicken it here. Now you can see I've done that. Now if you watch at the top right corner again, we have a distance of, let's watch it, a distance of 50. From here to this side is 50, right? I'm going to measure my 50 straight down, and I'll thicken it. So here, we'll start from here, and we'll measure 50. So here is here, so we'll measure 50. So let me measure the 50, and I'll thicken it. this is 0 here to this point, which is 50, right? So I'm going to tick in that side first of all. That again. So I'll measure the 50 there, right? So the next thing is, if you watch clearly, from the end of 50 upward is another 50, right? So I'm going to do that. From the end of 50, this is the end of the 50 here, upward is another 50. So I'll just draw a vertical line up this way to that point, and I'll measure 50 on that line, and I'll tick in it. So from here, measure 50 upward, which is here, and I'm going to tick in it. From this point to this point. So that is one of the 50 there. Now the next thing is, from the end of the other 50 to this point, because it's 60, right? So since this is the highest point, the highest point here is the highest distance here is 60. So I'll just take my t-square and I'll just draw it straight to touch that line. So it's 60, so just move it straight. Automatically here is 60. You can see that. Now if you look at the top corner, it's just touching the 60. From here to here is 60, because we see that our entire length is 10. So that is one of the importance of the total length and total height and total width you are measuring. So it will just tell you that your diagram must not go out of this box. Now if you look at the top right corner, you discover that this is close to, right? So I am going to close it. I'll close it. So let me just show you to see what I'm talking about. So I've closed it, and this is it. Now you can see that I have closed it, right? We said from here, we've already done this. I've closed this. Then from here to the other end is also ticking, right? So I'm going to tick in it too. So it says from here to the other end is also ticking. So I'm going to tick in that end too. That is the 44 that we measured, right? Now we discover that the thickness between here to here is what? Is 10, right? From here to this side is 10. So if I add 10 and 60, that will give me 70. So it means from here to the end point here is 70. So I'm going to measure 70 from that point. So I said from here, I'll measure 70. So I measure the 70. 1 to 7. This is the 70 here. Right? So I'm going to tick in it. That is 70. You can see that. So once I've done that, I will discover that it is touching the other side. If you look at the top right corner, this side, there's a straight line that is drawn here, which is what I'm showing you now. Can you see a straight line that is joined to the other end, right? And I'll close it up too. So that's what I want to do. So with the help of my t-square, at this point where it means, use my 30° again, and what I will join this from here to meet the other end here. You can see that, because if you look at this point that I'm moving joining, every point is just 60. If I draw a line here now, you discover that what? This is 30 and this is another 30 again. Even at this point also, if I draw a line here also, you discover that this is what? Another 30° again. So it is based on 30°. So I'll close here up just like the diagram suggests. Then I close this point from here straight down to this point, right? You can see that. Now the next thing I'll do from the diagram is that we're drawing this straight down to touch this 10mm up here. If you look at the top right corner, you see what I'm talking about. So let's do that. This point you see is this point here, and it's coming straight down to touch the 10mm distance here. So I'll draw it down to touch here, then I'll close it up here. So drawing it down from this point to touch down here, right? Then I'll close it up here. You can see that. Now the next one is, there's a line here that is parallel to this line, so I'll just use my faint line. Why am I using my faint line? This is the reason. This point here is a line going through, and there's this figure here. We call it a wedge that is blocking it, right, at some distance here. And there's another line here too coming in to touch this line here, and the wedge is also blocking it. So I'll use my faint line to join them first before I thicken them. So this point I'll draw it in, which is this point, which is this point. I'll draw it in with my set square standing at 30 degrees. So I'll just use my faint line, I'll draw it in this way. Then I'll turn it this way to allow this line also to meet it with faint line again. You can see that. And I'll just close it up here with another faint line. The reason I'm doing that is because of that wedge that look like a V shape that is there. So I'll close it up. Now I've brought this out now. Now we are told in the diagram that the wedge is 10 millimeter thick. Let's see. You can see that the wedge is 10 millimeter thick. So I'm going to measure 10 millimeter. So the key word is this. At this line here, which is this line here, right? I'm going to get the center. And we know that from here to here is the same thing as saying from here to here, right? Which is the same thing as saying from here to here. That again, and that is 44. So I'm going to measure half of 44, which is 22, with my rule. So I'll place it here and I'll measure 22. So from here, this is 0, 10, 20, this is 22 here, right? And I'll take my set square, take it to that point of 22, just faint line. I'll just move it here to touch here, and I'll come up here to mark up also this way. You can see that. So we told the thickness of that wedge is 10. So I'm going to take my compass now, and I'm going to measure 5 each because it's 10. So I'll measure half of 10, which is 5, this way, and I'll place it at this point. I'll measure 5 to the left, 5 to the right, and I'll come up here also. I'll measure 5 to the left and also 5 to the right. So the only thing you cannot draw with your set square is a wedge. One of the things you cannot do with your set square is what is a wedge. So you just have to just join them directly. So from here to here is this, and from here to here is this. I'm thickening it. You can see what I'm drawing at the top right corner is this. So it is the wedge here. I just joined these two to this point. Now the next thing is I'll bring a straight line down to touch this line, and a straight line here to touch this line. So I'm using my set square to do that, which is this. So use my set square to join from here to this point. Then use it also to join from here to this point. You can see that. Then I'll close here up to. Must not pass through the figure because this figure is blocking that line, and at this point here too. Then I'll take in here also because in the diagram it is thickened, so I'm just reproducing. You can see that. So I've successfully drawn this part out. Now the next thing that is remaining is to draw the circle as shown in the figure displayed on your screen. To draw the circle here, right? So let's see. Circle in isometric is in ellipse, it's elliptical, right? Is what? Elliptical. So I want to draw this circle here. First of all, if you discover something, we have to get the center. It's telling you that from the end here to this point here is 30, right? I already have the half of this already, which is we have. So from the end here to here is 30. So let's see. So this is the end here. So I'll measure 30 backward. So let's measure that 30. So this is the 30 here. From 3, we are going back. This is 30. So I'll use my set square. I'll go to that point. I measure 30. I'll just draw my faint line. Or better still, my center line if I want to. But first of all, just faint line first. Then we already measured the half here. If you remember when we did this distance here, we measured the half, which is this 22. Or on your own, you can just measure 22 and you draw with your set square. So I'll do that from here. And this will be 22 to this point. So from here to here 22. So I just got half of that distance here. So this is what we have here. That is the center, right? Now the next thing you check is the radius of the circle. So let's see. The radius of the circle is given to be what? 15, right? So I'm going to take 15 millimeter on my meter rule this way from here to here. This is 15 here, right? And I'll place it, come to the center. I'm going to mark left up. I'll mark left. I'm going to also mark right. Then I'll come here and I'm going to mark this point here. So these are the 4 points I've marked. That is step 2. Right? Step 1, after getting the center. Step 2, you mark those 4 points. Now I'm going to use my set square and t-square. All the lines in your isometric must be parallel. So this line, I'll draw it or increase it a little bit from here, this way. You can see that. And I'll come here also, increase this one too from here, this way. Then I'll turn it to close it up with this. Then I'll turn it. I'll come to this point too and I'll close it up. Now I've brought out the box that I want to bring in my circle. Now you join the longest diagonal. From here to here is longer than from here to here. So you're going to join from here to here. So if I should join that this way, passing through the center, I'll have this. You can see that. Now you can take any of these points and you join from here to this line here, and from here to this line here. You can decide to do it from the other way too. You can come from here too. You draw from here to here and from here to here. The choice is yours. So now I can now take my compass and I'll start drawing. So I'll place it at this end. I'll take it to this end here and I'll draw the circle. So it will become something like this. You can see that. So you gauge it and you come to this point, right? And you do the same thing from here also. You repeat the same thing from here. You close it up. You can see that. And from here you place it here and you gauge it to this point and you close it up. You can see that. And from here you place it at this point, then you gauge it to this point and you close it up. So this is what you'll be having. Now, so this is what we have here. But if you look at that closely, it is a true. Let me show you. It is what? After the big one out, there's another one in. And the thickness of that one is what? Is also 10 millimeter. So what I'll do is this. Watch. I'll rule a line downward of 10 millimeter from this point downward. So let's measure the 10 from the circle downward. No, this is 10 here. From this point, it's going to the center. So from this point to the center is 10. So I can easily use my French curve to make my work easier, because if you look at this French curve very well, I have this, right? And I have this. This is fitting in here directly because it's fitting in there. So I'll just move it to that 10. Is that taken? Which is the center here. I'll move it to that 10. Ensure that you gauge it very well. Then I'm going to draw this way. You can see that. So this is how you can reproduce your isometric drawing. Is that again? And you should do your dimensioning. It will help you very well. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.